Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episodes of Deep Divers, singular episodes. I'm tired, and I'm not excited for what awaits us.
I think it's honest, like, a single episodes, because it's like we're talking about one thing over what might be 4 videos.
Yeah, we're talking, of course, about the Silmarillion, which I probably just misspelled and don't care to fix, because there's a lot of R's and L's, and I don't remember how many of each.
Only one R.
So
one R and 2 L's. Well, 2 L's together. 3 L's total.
1 L, 2 L's.
I should use the same font size to fix this and not.
Nah.
So some of you might be watching this and thinking, what's the Silmarillion? I don't remember any shows or movies called that. No, this is, if you've seen Lord of the Rings, this is like Lord of the Rings, but worse, because it happened 5,000 years ago and has little to no plot relevance to the Lord of the Rings.
If only it was 5,000 years ago.
Yeah, it's more like several, like 10,000 or something. Like I don't even remember. It basically what I know is,
let's just point out this: the Lord of the Rings takes place in the Third Age. It's the end of the Third Age. It takes place 3,000 years into the Third Age.
yes, like.
What we're going to be mostly talking about is the First Age.
Yeah, this is basically like the Lord of the Rings took place in the last 1% of the Third Age.
Yeah.
And that's the entirety of Lord of the Rings, including when, like, Isildur existed.
Yeah.
Well... Are we going to talk about how Legolas is canonically a flat earther?
No.
And
no,
correct.
Well,
and wrong. And correct. And wrong.
That's a Second Age thing.
Oh, is that? Damn it! This is one of those.
So
I know a little bit about the Silmarillion because I did read, I think up until Ungoliant, which I think was page 4. They kind of the first couple pages really had a lot of. I think it was more than page 4. Because, like, the more I think about it, the more I remember stuff happening between then. But, like, there was a lot of things happening very quickly before things settled down for a while, and then you actually got characters that stuck around for a bit.
Yeah.
And then the rest of what I know is from one metal album that sang a lot about the Silmarillion, which is a great album.
Yeah.
That's the only album by them that I've ever heard, and I've heard it's very different than everything else they do.
Yeah, the other stuff is also good, but...
Yeah, I don't think it's too different, it's just very Lord of the Rings focused. But they do also have a song called Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. So, just to clear things up, the book by Tolkien, called The Silmarillion, is comprised of 5 stories. So, it's, Einulindale, which is a creation myth. It's like a pre-creation myth, with like singing and songs and stuff. We're not going to talk about that.
Oh, we're not going to talk about the creation of the world? I would have thought that that's the perfect place to start.
No, we're going to start with the creation of like the earth and stuff.
Okay.
Not with like the pre-creation singing. We'll like touch on the second book, which is Quenta, which is just kind of a dramatis personae of the Valar and Maiar.
I'm sorry, it's a what?
And then
what's Valis personae?
No, dramatis personae. It's the beginning of a play where it tells you all the characters involved.
Oh, okay. Like Gandalf.
Yeah.
I know he's in this one technically.
Isn't he a mayor?
He's alive, but he doesn't...
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's in it technically. Like, Olorin exists. That's it. That's all you get from this.
I don't think his name is ever spoken in this book.
I don't think so either.
But yes,
it's just that he
technically he is alive now.
Yeah. He was...
Isn't he a mayor?
Yeah, he was a mayor.
Yeah, he's a mayor. Okay. We'll get to that.
Do you think he's ever going to be a senator?
The third book... No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Unless you mean like a Roman senator, which is when he gets the white robes and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And that happens.
And then Saruman turns gay.
Yeah.
Well, not turns gay. Let's be real.
Ah.
All right. Third book is Quenta Silmarillion, which is the tale of the Silmarils, and that's what we're actually going to be talking about.
Tales
And then the fourth
of-
book is Akalabeth, which is like the first half of the second age, and we're not getting into that. And then Of the Rings of Power in the third age, which is like the last bit of the second age, and then like the third age happened.
Including spoilers for Lord of the Rings, so make sure you've read that before you read the Silmarillion.
Or make
even
sure
the
you've watched the
Silmarillion.
extended editions at least. I'm not gonna make
Yeah.
anyone go read the Lord of the Rings. If someone
But it's
could
a
read,
good series.
okay, yes, but somebody who is coming to this video, if they have not read Lord of the Rings, the Silmarillion will, no matter how short we make this, will not be the thing that gets them to read the Lord of the Rings.
No, absolutely
It
not.
might make them pick up The Hobbit.
Don't do that. Pick up Lord of the Rings. Don't pick up The Hobbit.
Hobbit's good though.
I have a passionate hatred. Blech. I can't even speak with how much I hate The Hobbit.
Why?
Yeah,
It's
he
my
really hates
least
the
favorite
Hobbit
book.
Why?
because he hates fun
Do you
things.
like talking about every leaf and exactly what it looks like?
No, that's it. That's literally why I hate The Hobbit.
I don't understand. The Hobbit
Because-
was fine about it. Lord of the Rings was the
No,
worst.
no. When you get to the part where they are about to go through the forest, and then they go through the forest, and then they keep going through the forest, and we have to describe literally everything about the forest,
Yes,
and none
so-
of it's interesting.
Yeah, so it happened
for
once
like
instead of Lord of the Rings, where it happened
7
every
chapters.
chapter. Listen, I got through The Hobbit
But,
fine.
like-
I could not, I struggled to finish Lord of the Rings. I did it, I believe, but boy, was it something that I was like, okay, I did it once.
Yeah. I mean, I am a little bit weird in this because I've read The Hobbit like twice and I hated it both times. I've read Lord of the Rings all the way through like 3 or 4 times. And the Silmarillion is literally falling apart because I have read it.
Yeah, see, this is why I can't
13
trust you about
plus
if The
times.
Hobbit is good or not, because, you've read the Silmarillion so much, and it literally is one book that takes place over 7 million years. Literally starts
But
with...
that's the thing. It takes place over 7 million years. So it does a lot of skipping over time. It's
Yes.
and they stayed like that for 8,000 years
Exactly,
until
that's
they
so
were
frustrating
discovered.
to me, because I'm just like, alright, here are the characters that I know. Okay, now we've skipped forward to when they're dead.
Oh, no.
I know there's a lot
'cause
of
for
elves.
the most part, for the most part, we're talking about elves. So it's like we skipped over 3,000 years.
Yeah.
So back to those characters that you still love.
Maybe that's why I don't like it, because it's all elves and I don't care for elves. It's like, here they are, 7,000 years later. They have not changed. They're the same assholes that you've come to appreciate, except maybe you haven't.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So
In the
we're
beginning.
gonna get started with just kind of a Vala Quenta, which is an account of the Valar and the Maiar according to
What is with
the Eldar.
this episode of Deep Divers where you've decided to pull out the most Latin you can?
What? Vala Quenta's the actual name of this.
See, it sounded like you just said some dumb Latin term.
It's not Latin. It is Quinton, which is the Quinian. Sorry.
Ah,
Yeah,
yes.
you gotta realize
Kenyan.
when you deal
One of the-
with Middle Earth books that I feel like, and this isn't canon from anything I know, I just feel like Tolkien wrote this because he wrote a language and he had to make it relevant.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people's takes on that they were like, he made up a language and he's like, well, I gotta write books about this.
Yeah.
Because the language is incredibly developed. The story is great. I love the story. It's very interesting, but it's not nearly as fully and intricately developed as the language.
See, okay,
Which adds some realness to it
Oh yeah, because
that you
real
couldn't
life.
get otherwise.
Yeah.
what basically kills me about the concept of the Silmarillion, by the way, real quickly, just to go back to our time estimate, this is basically like if someone watched, or someone like, whoever it is that did Star Wars, what was it? George Lucas. If he did Star Wars,
George
right,
Lucas.
and then for the prequels, he started with when man evolved, and went all the way up until Star Wars. Like,
I mean,
like the fact that it was like,
to
okay,
be fair,
I'm not gonna write anything that happens after the main series, but I am gonna write something about literally everything that has happened before it.
to be fair, he did write the Silmarillion first. Things got released.
Okay, so he got better as he wrote. He started realizing, oh, maybe people don't want to read a history book of 7 million years.
Well, the thing is, the reason Jonathan hates The Hobbit isn't really J.R.R. Tolkien's fault. It's his son's fault.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
we can't talk ill of Tolkien.
Are you referencing the story?
Yes, I'm talking about how Tolkien would tell his son The Hobbit as a bedtime story. And the little guy was just like, no! Last night you said Thorin's cloak was blue! You just said it's purple! Which is it?
So he's like, you little shit. I'm gonna
He's
write
like,
it all down.
You're
down
10.
to make sure he was consistent.
He should just be like, I don't know, I've invented a new color. Fuck you, it's both. It's blue with purple on it.
Yeah. So yeah, basically.
So in the beginning.
All right, no,
Tokus-
wait, we're talking about yeah,
Tokus-
we're talking about the Valar and the Maiar. So,
Tokus Valis.
there are 3 types of, I guess, deities in the Lord of the Rings storyline, Middle Earth. There's Eru Iluvatar, who really doesn't show up in these stories, and he's like the Christian god, I guess, would be your best way of thinking it. He's over everything, he's in charge of everything, but he's also kind of like the deist perspective, where he sets things up like clockwork and then steps back. But then there's the people who actually are involved, which are the Valar, which you could think of like archangels. They're really powerful, and then the Maiar, which are, you know, just they're powerful, but they're not the Valar powerful. The Valar are kind of like a Greek pantheon.
You said which one?
So
The Valar?
the Valar, yeah.
Yeah, I like that better.
So you've got like Manwë is Zeus, basically. Olmo
well.
is Poseidon.
Well, I know which one that I don't like.
Manwë doesn't fuck anyone.
Oh,
so
okay.
you got that.
Oh, so he's not Zeus.
Yeah.
he's
No.
not relevant at all.
No.
Also, I'm so glad that I got to write 3 beings. 1, literally God, not relevant.
Yeah. I mean, these are the pantheon that actually like do anything in the story.
Yeah, I remember one
But
of them invents
they-
the dwarves.
Yeah. So there's Manwë, who's Zeus, Ulmo, who's he's in charge of the oceans, Owl is in charge of the ground, Orome is in charge of
How should I draw the Valar?
the hunt.
Yeah.
I
He
can't
blessed
remember.
The bestest.
How do I draw the Greek gods?
Yeah.
How do I draw a
don't-
symbol to represent the Valar?
Just like draw really, really like muscly chest. That's all they ever drew.
It's true. Yeah, or just like a really detailed torso and dick.
Uh huh.
Like that's all you need.
I'll just draw the
Torso down to dick.
There we go. That's
All
the
right.
Valar. They're all just shredded.
Cool. So there's Manwë is the head of them. Ulmo is the ocean dude. Owl is the land dude. Orome is the hunt dude.
You're gonna have
Mandos
to-
is
Okay, Manwë is Zeus, or leader. I
Manwë is
guess.
Zeus. Yeah.
Ulmo is
Ulmo,
wet boy.
water. Wet boy, yeah. Owl is
How do you spell
Aule. Put 2
Oh.
dots over the E.
Auld Lang Syne. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And what is Auld?
Ground. Orome is hunt. He's Diana. Diane. Then Mandos, and he's the god of doom. Yes. Which Tolkien uses a very rare usage of the term doom to mean fate and not
Yes.
like a shitty thing to happen.
Until
to
you get used to it, it's very. The whole book seems very dark, and then you're just like, oh no, he just means fate.
You're
Okay.
like, oh, he's Hades. Oh, never mind. He's just the fate.
Well, he is also Hades.
Oh, okay.
The halls of Mandos are where elf souls go when they die.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So,
And then they just chill there.
so I do forget.
He doesn't punish any of them, but they, just kind of chill there.
I also forget that the Silmarillion is basically like, this is a story about why the elves are the main characters of the Lord of the Rings universe. Except also, here's these other guys, I guess. Like, the dwarves just kind of show up. Or the dwarves are made by someone and then sealed away. But if I remember right, I think the hobbits just appear and no one knows why. And everyone's just like, yeah, okay.
No.
Pretty much.
Pretty
yeah.
much.
Yeah, hobbits are just there. They're kind of the best.
There's Lorien. I don't remember who Lorien is.
Trees, probably.
Gardens, actually.
Okay, yeah, plants. You know how I guessed that?
No,
his name
because
is in Lothlorien.
Yavanna is the goddess of living things, including plants.
So wait, what's Lorien?
Just gardens.
Gardens.
That's like that's like being like fucking Owl is the god of like the earth, and this dude's the god of rock gardens. It's like, well, that's also just earth. It's like, yes, but earth in specific ways. Like, what? I'm the god of mountains, but only a couple. This other dude's the god of most of the rest of them.
So we can skip over Lorien because he doesn't actually feature in this. There's Tolkas, who I always, like, in my head mix him up with Tonka because he's just a truck of a dude. Oh. Yeah, no, his superpower is that he's just fucking strong and he beats the shit out of everything. Like, that's it.
So his
strong
superpower
man.
is being a superpower.
Yeah, his superpower is Mr. Clean Bod.
Strength.
Then there's Varda, is a queen, the queen of Manwë, and
wait, what is she the god of? Okay, yeah.
She's the god of the sky. It's like the stars and the sun and the moon eventually, and
oh, okay, so sky and like cosmos.
Yeah. And there's
I thought you meant like
Yavanna.
The Eagles. I'm sorry, who?
Yavanna, Yavanna, and she's the wife of Owl.
Wait, didn't we already do Yavanna with the plants?
Yeah, but I had just touched on her. She's plants and animals. She's the goddess of life.
But not life, just living things.
Yeah. And Nienna, and she's the goddess of grief. And then there's the Maiar, and the Maiar they're the same order as Valar. They're the same types of creatures. They're just less strong.
So they're just sort of like lesser Valar.
Yeah. There's a bunch of ones that are like specifically tied to people that, like, Eonwi is the banner bearer and herald of Manwë, and Ase is one of the vassals of Ulmo, and he
are there any that
like
are like
the minor god of the tides?
Are there any that are like more relevant? Like, I don't know, someone who like teaches Sauron how to be a bad person.
No.
What the?
No.
Who the fuck is that then?
That's a Valor.
That's a Valor. We'll get to him.
Oh, okay, because I didn't leave room for him.
Interestingly, in here, I was wrong when I mentioned earlier. Gandalf is in here. He is a part of the Vala Quenta, and they like really super give him power because they're like, hey, wisest of the Maiar is Olorin.
Yeah, okay, I thought that he was mentioned somewhere in there.
Yeah, they're not just like, oh yeah, Gandalf also exists. They're like, oh yeah, Gandalf's here, and also he's the wisest Maiar that ever existed.
He's the wisest in the world. Also, we're not ever gonna call on him for anything. No matter how bad things get, we are gonna do it without him. Besides, the only spells he knows are make firework and big flashlight.
Yep.
That's the only spells we'll see him do.
No, he turns his sword on fire in a deleted scene in
That's true, and it's really cool.
It really is. And then his sword breaks and it's kind of worthless.
Yeah, and then you're just like it's wild to think of like any of that, because you're just like, what are the power levels of like the bad guys that we're fighting right now? Because he's the wisest. Well, I guess maybe he just like he hasn't leveled up in a while. So like at the beginning he was super strong, but now the world has leveled up with him and he's just forgot to go adventuring. He just does fireworks and shit.
Intentionally misspell Tolkien because it's been bugging me.
No, but I'm keeping it.
Alright, so in addition to all these Valor and Maiar, there's another Valor that needs to be spoken about, and that is Melkor.
We literally did not write down any Maya because they don't matter.
That's fair. Melkor is as strong as Manwë. In fact, he is the mightiest of all the Valar.
Mightier than Tulkas?
In ways, but not sheer strength. Like Tulkas still whoops his ass, but like Melkor has strengths in other ways.
What you're saying is he's
surpass him.
the Slytherin of them, and therefore the evil one.
Kinda, yeah.
It's just I am strong and my abilities do not die, and also probably just like brainwash people around me / just like manipulate them and other things.
Yeah.
I'm still strong though.
With him, there's he corrupted a bunch of Maiar to him. Some like Sauron, also known as Gorthar the Cruel. Which, I mean, really, they should have gone for instead of Sauron.
Yeah.
That I don't know. That one sounds fake. It doesn't sound. It sounds like what his first online avatar name was.
Balrogs are all Maiar that were converted by Melkor, and there were other smaller Maiar that he corrupted. Pretty much all of the fire Maiar became Balrogs.
Thank you.
Of Morgoth?
A Balrog.
Yeah, wait, where's
we don't
Morgoth?
Speak that name yet. Well, we'll get to Morgoth.
Okay.
I know, it's just the song.
What did you say? All right, hey, we've gotten to the Quenta Silmarillion.
Yay! Wait, we've gotten to it?
Yes, we've gotten to it. We can now start the Silmarillion.
Oh. Well, thanks for joining
that
us,
was
guys.
all the
That was 30
Quenta.
minutes. That was 30 minutes to set up the beginning of a book that does not set this kind of thing up for you.
So, the book starts with the Valar started making the Earth. They had a plan. That's what Einellendale is about. But now is when they're actually going through and like putting the plan in motion. Raising mountains, putting in the seas in the correct places, and planting seeds for trees, and they even like they build 2 giant lamps, and then it's just light all the time. And Melkor comes and fucks about and is a piece of shit, and because of that, Tolkis actually enters the world. He wasn't there before. He came out of the ether to join the world, to specifically because Melkor was being a dick, and so he fucked him up. That's Tolkis's one purpose in life, is to fuck up Melkor. That's literally it. So they put some big lamps in, and they start finishing the earth, and Melkor kind of goes off in a corner and hides underground, digs a big pit, and in this pit, this fortress, Utumno, his stronghold, he gathers his allies to him. Utumno. How many times do you want me to say it?
Well, so it's Utumno.
It's really
Yes.
weird for me hearing you tell this because I've never heard any of these words said out loud, and the way I pronounced everything in my head is different than how you pronounced it.
It's
Oh, yeah, well,
it's because
here's-
nobody actually talks about the Silmarillion.
There are some things that I've looked up the pronunciations of, and then other things that I'm just saying Utumno because it sounds fun. So, Melkor delves into his stronghold, and like the blight of his hatred just flows out and starts poisoning the land, and the Valar notice, and
They
they're
notice.
like, well, they're like, why is our shit not perfect anymore? It was just flawless, and now it's fucked up. I wonder who did that. Oh, let's see. What's the only thing that's actually evil in this world? Melkor.
Yeah.
Let's go fuck him up. So now they know where he is because, you know, you just find the epicenter of the fuck up area.
Melkor is a bit of a fuck up, I feel like.
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah, he is.
like he's just like, I don't know if they ever go into his reason or motive to do anything, but it's basically, I'm Engi.
I mean, they do. We just skipped it.
Yeah, it was,
They were
some-
making the Earth.
Yeah, some
They were
weird
planning
shit.
it out, and he was like, "Ooh, I have really cool ideas." And Iluvatar was just like, "Nope, you're supposed to make my ideas." And then he was like, "Well, damn,
Oh,
okay.
so it's
if
like-
I don't get to make things, I guess I'll just fuck everything up."
So it's like working at GG. You don't follow John's
As if
plan. and you
anyone works at GG.
yeah, if you don't follow John's plan, you get fired. Or was that just me? I feel like that was just me.
I don't know, how many times have you been fired?
I don't know.
Anyways,
Yeah, not
um,
enough.
so everyone goes, all the Valar go to Autumno to fuck him up, and Melkor's like, well, they're coming here. I think I'm strong enough. And he comes out and, like, pre-attacks them, and, like,
I need you to describe him for me so I can draw him.
oh,
Well, he can
Kristin.
change shape.
Yeah.
Right now,
For
all
now.
of them can change shape.
I mean, okay. If that's all you're giving me, then I will draw.
Just draw an unhappy face for now. You're gonna need a head at some point so you can draw a crown on his head, but he doesn't have a crown yet.
That you've only given me he can change shape, so now he is Kirby.
Okay,
That-
that's fine.
This is now Melkor because this is all I was given to work with.
That's fine.
I can't wait to draw a crown on him.
So, he comes out and, like, attacks them, and they attack back, and then he sees Tolkis coming, and he flees because he's a little bitch, and
I mean,
And
would you
in
really
there-
want to fight Tolkis?
no, I mean, he's like the personification of a Tonka truck.
That's only your headcanon.
But it's true. So they try, like, pulling him out of Autumno, and they, like, he's delved too deep. He's safe from them for now, and they've got other things to do, so they kind of just let him be for a bit. And they go back to where they are staying, called Valinor. And on Valinor, Yavanna begins to sing, and while she sings on this particular mound, 2 trees grow. And as these trees grow,
They're the prettiest trees
that you ever did see,
in the history of trees.
maybe ever. But like legitimately, these trees are the prettiest things that have ever existed and ever will exist on the face of the earth. And that's just canon.
Who is this?
Yep.
You said Yavanna?
Yavanna did, yeah.
The
two
okay, because the
trees
trees aren't
of
in a
Valinor.
garden; they're just alive. Okay.
Yeah. Correct.
What does Yavanna look like? Listen,
it
this is the
doesn't
Lord of the
really
Rings book. They definitely described something. I refuse to believe that there's no descriptions.
They
If you have to make them up, that
Right.
works too.
give me a second. I'm gonna look and see if in the Quenta they describe her at all.
Again, if you have to make it up on the spot right now for a more interesting and entertaining thing, that's okay too.
I was gonna say they don't really describe people except when they're specifically doing specific things.
In the form of a woman, she is tall and robed in green, but at times she takes other shapes. Some there are who have seen her standing like a tree under heaven, crowned with the sun, and from all its branches there spilled a golden dew upon the barren earth, and its green grew with corn, but the roots of the tree were in the waters of blah 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 blah.
Well, until the blah 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 part, don't the viewers think that this is a much better way to learn about the Silmarillion than listening to us?
Hey, but then you have to hear about corn and stuff. Like, why corn specifically? It's weird. Why couldn't it be like rose bushes or something? I don't know. Corn.
If it was
Uh,
rose bushes, you'd be like, why rose bushes? Why couldn't it be like something else, like corn?
Rosebud was the sled. So like one of them is like a silvery tree, and that one is Laurelin, and the other one was like a goldenish tree, and that was Telperion, and that doesn't matter. But yeah, there's like light spills out from the trees, and it's really pretty and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You ready for the next thing?
Almost. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so at this point they know that the firstborn of Iluvatar, the elves, will not be born
God fuck?
until they're
Or just like...
no. Well, this is like the first lives that he's creating. I don't know what the Valar are, if not the first lives he created, but
I mean, like...
These are like the first lives of Middle Earth.
Yeah,
like the Valar were there
yeah.
beforehand,
It
and these
goes-
are the ones that are gonna live here.
Yeah, it goes to the question of, like, were the Valar ever created, or were they always existent?
I mean, because there are things that just show up. We'll get into one this
the hobbits.
episode. Well, no, because we won't get into the hobbits. We'll get into other things.
But the book wrote itself. Right? That's what that means?
No.
So,
Seems like it, though.
So then...
Seems
elves.
like an AI wrote it. So elves are supposed to show up, and they know they're supposed to show up, but they also know that like, Melkor's out there, and he's pretty bad, and it's hard to see things when it's dark, and so they decide to put stars in the sky. And so Varda goes out there, and she starts putting stars in the sky, and as soon
Do
as
we
she's
still
done...
have the lamps?
Actually,
I thought
the
the
lamps...
disappeared before the trees showed up.
Yeah, the lamps broke when they went to fuck up Melkor.
Oh.
Because, like, they fought a lot on the earth, and it shook the earth, and the lamps
Replace
fell.
the lamps.
Okay, lamps get Pixar.
And yeah.
Smashed by other lamps.
Yeah, what? An eye comes out of nowhere and smashes them?
Yeah.
Whoa, this is backwards.
I mean, sure. I mean, you said lamps. I'm sure that's supposed to mean like something different than like desk lamps, but I did draw desk lamps.
I saw.
I've always thought of it as just like a globe bulb,
Yeah, you mean the sun?
but like on top of a pillar, unmoving.
That cast a really shitty shadow right beneath it. Like, the whole land is covered in light unless you're 2 feet away.
So they finish, and right as they finish, the Valor awake. Or not the Valor, the Elves awake. But because this book is written stupidly, it goes back and forth 100 times. So before we get to the Elves awakening, we have to go back like 100 or 200 years, which years don't exist yet because there's no sun and moon in the sky. There's just 2 lamps.
Let me tell you how time isn't based on specifically the sun and the moon. Yeah, there's 2 lamps or 2 trees.
There's also no days.
Have they considered that maybe if they just did one light source, it wouldn't fuck like maybe that's what the issue is? Because every time they make 2 light sources, something bad happens.
So a little bit before then, All, the god of the dirt, gets impatient. He knows that life's coming, but he's like, maybe I do it now. And so he goes out and he makes these strong, stout dwarves. He makes dwarves. He invents dwarves. And he finishes inventing dwarves and teaching them languages and stuff. And Iluvatar shows up. And he's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you're trying to supplant me?
This is like the only time Iluvatar does anything after initial beginning.
Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. That's kind of my bad. I guess I'll get rid of them. And then he starts to like kill them, like gets ready to kill them. And Iluvatar's like, whoa. Let's not be hasty here. You can have your people, but my people get to come first. And I was like, that's fair. Like, my bad still, but, you know, you're right. It's kind of your whole shtick.
They were a little bit janky people anyway, and Iluvatar's like, let's smooth this out too.
Yeah.
You said who was this? Oh yeah, All. So I have to
All.
put the picture next to All so that people will know when I use it later on.
Yeah.
That's All.
So Iluvatar's like, you're fine. They're just gonna go to sleep until after my people wake up, and then they can be awake. But me first.
Yeah, because anyone who goes against my plan is bad inherently.
Well, I mean,
And Melkor did it once, and look how he turned out.
yeah, but All isn't bad. All saw the error of his ways and repented.
Yes, true. Melkor didn't try to destroy the Earth when he realized he shouldn't have done that. Although that actually, I guess he did. Huh.
So so they take the 7 dwarves that were created, the 7 fathers of the dwarves, and bury them in rock and put them to sleep. And
Did they
at
only
some
make
point, I guess they just pick themselves out or like chew their way out of the dirt or something.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't
like,
know.
were they
it says
put
they
into
were
the
sealed in
asleep?
rock.
Were they asleep?
Yes.
Okay, because I was gonna say, like,
Yeah.
you know, you can't say the elves came first if the dwarves were alive but underground.
Yeah. It does specifically say they were asleep.
Here, I know how to...
So all is, all feels bad, but he got what he wanted anyway, so he's kind of happy. But he goes to work, and he tells his wife Yavanna, and Yavanna's like, "What the fuck, dude? Like, your people are gonna screw up my people. Like, all the things that I've made, they're gonna trample over it and chop down the trees for wood and stuff." And I was like, Yeah, but so is everything else.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, don't worry,
when the
they
elves
like
come,
rocks.
yeah, when the elves come and when man comes, they're gonna need wood too. And Yvonne's like, shit, you're right. Fuck. I like my people. And so she runs to Manwë and is like, hey, this ain't cool. I don't like this. And Manwë's like, you'd have to be stupid not to know that this was coming. And she looks inside of herself and remembers, and she's like, yeah, you're right, I knew this was coming. But also, I planned for this in this big song plan thing that we did, and I just remembered. And Manwë's like, yeah, I guess you're right. Let's check with Iluvatar. And he talks to Iluvatar a little bit, and comes back and is like, yep, you get to have people too.
I literally
But
don't
they
see
also
where
have
this
to
is
go
going,
sleep.
so I have not written anything down. I have no idea what's happening.
And so she makes the ents.
Okay. Hold on, I need a picture.
Now,
of
they're
Tall
not
Lady.
called ents in this, but that's literally the only thing they could be, so...
That where the ends came from.
Yep.
Because they don't
best,
call them ends, so I honestly didn't know that's what happened.
Best part of this story is that this Yavanna and ent bit never comes up ever again. And nothing, like, the things that it says she created, those words stop being used forever. Like, it's like, oh, you've created the blah blah blahs, and it's like, yep, done.
I mean, ends come into play later. Like, not in this book, but...
Yeah. But you will never ever hear about the... Let me get to that page. The trees of Kementari. The Olvar. Yeah, you never hear about the Olvar ever again. Also, I really like the part where in this, Yavanna says, well, thanks be to Iluvatar and to Manwë for doing this. My trees will grow so high that your hallowed eagles will perch in the branches. And Manwë immediately is like, nah, bitch. Nah, you ain't tall enough. We're sticking with all. And immediately shuts that down. No. My eagles perch on mountains.
I like that she was like, I will give the eagles a nice resting spot. And he's like, fuck you! And she's just like, I'm trying to help. What the fuck?
No, she's just full of herself. She's like, yes, my things will be the greatest. And... wrong. Alright. We done with that. We can move back to the elves.
I hope it's
so
okay
the
that I
elves
just
show up.
used a picture of the tall lady from Resident Evil as her.
Sure.
I wondered who that was.
Yeah, she's like 9 feet tall, so I just assumed that that's close enough.
Yeah.
Probably.
So the elves show up, and they just wake up in a part of Middle-earth. From reading this, it's like the southeast, sort of like Mordor-ish, or south or
weird.
east of that.
The Valar didn't know for sure where they were gonna show
Wait, are
up.
they even in Middle
Yeah.
Earth?
Yeah, they're in Middle-earth. They're
Oh.
just...
Why did I think that there was in like a whole different section of world?
You're thinking of Beleriand, whereas most of the story takes place,
Okay.
which is to the west of Middle-earth. They arise in Middle-earth, although Middle-earth is really the name for everything.
What about the Grey Havens? Is that
It's-
still Middle Earth?
Yeah.
But it's not on the map.
The Grey Havens are on the map.
No, it just has an arrow to the side, and it just says the Grey Havens are this way.
No, it's definitely on the map. Let me grab my
Let me
copy
get my
of the
map.
Fellowship.
I am looking at a picture of Middle Earth, and it does not include.
It's the northeastern.
The northeastern?
Forlinden, where it says Linden, Harlinden, Forlinden. Northwestern, sorry, my bad. The Grey Havens are in Mythland, which is an Eriador.
I always thought the Grey Havens were like
Just-
on another continent, which is why they had to take a
Nope.
boat there.
Nope.
It's
No,
like-
no. They go to the Grey Havens to leave Middle Earth.
Wait, so you're saying like Grey Havens is just like a dock that they go to find a boat that leaves Middle Earth?
Yeah. Okay. So we'll get into the stupid bit.
I'm genuinely curious
Just
about
to-
this because
to
I've
get this-
also now
just-
noticed that the Shire is like a 2 days walk away from the Grey Havens.
No, it's much more than that. But
Man, he's walked
those
to fucking
areas
Mordor by
are-
now. Anything's
yeah,
a
which
2 day
took,
walk for
like,
Frodo.
which took like 12 years.
Did-
It took a lot of time.
Yeah, but I thought it was like 2 or 3 years, not like 12.
I know that Frodo had the ring for like 17 years.
Yeah, but a lot of that it was just like in a box. Like he just had it in his like chest.
Yeah, waiting for
And then Gandalf
to
threw it
come
in a
back or
fire.
whatever. No, Gandalf threw it in the fire immediately.
Yeah. So,
I think.
Oh, I thought that was after the time the like 12 years.
Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm not remembering correctly. It's been a while. Anyways,
Yeah, it's not-
at this point, the Earth is flat. It's the truth. The Earth is flat. After halfway through the Second Age, man screws up and tries to attack the Valar, and the Valar are like, "What the fuck, dude? When did you ever think this would work?" Just destroys them all, sinks their island, and then makes the Earth curved.
Yeah.
But because there are still elves, and the elves have the right to come to Valinor, they make it so that elves, when leaving, can travel on the direct plane to Valinor.
But
Because
it's more than just that, right? Because the whole like what do your elf eyes see? Isn't it just because like the Earth doesn't curve for Legolas so he can see further?
I think that's just Aragorn being racist.
I
Yeah,
don't think so. I don't think that's
That's
true.
the way I've always taken that as like.
I also don't.
I don't know. What do your man ears hear?
I am fairly certain it has to do with the because it's not just to and from Valinor from what I remember. It's that like the Earth itself is literally like different for him.
I think it's just to and from Valinor because that's the only place that's not on the same plane. Like everything else is still the Earth is curved. The Earth is a sphere. Fun fact, people on the internet. Unless you're an elf, in which case you can fly boat to Valinor, but that's it.
Okay, I need you to know. I started trying to figure out how to search this, and I typed in Google "Can elves see?" and it gave me through walls, in the dark, and the future.
And
This is like elves from
To varying
three
degrees for
completely
all of
different
us.
mythologies.
to varying degrees for all three of us.
yeah, basically.
I mean, they have low light vision usually, not necessarily dark vision.
Yeah.
Unless you're Drow.
Yeah, well, Drow are different.
Yeah. In this book, there's only one mention of a dark elf. But there's lots of gray and green and high elves.